Well, the weather may be wintry, but the action tonight will certainly warm you up. 3 excellent matches, and this is the lineup. The main game is Crystal Palace against Manchester City, supported by the big one at the top, leaders Aston Villa against Arsenal, and also Manchester United against Southampton. And it was in this game that 2 youngsters made their first appearance for Southampton. There's Danny Wallace, and he, believe it or not, is just 16 years old. And then there's 18-year-old Ruben Agboola. What a place to begin a First Division career. Also tonight, we have Malcolm Allison talking about how depressed he's been out of the game and his hopes for getting back into it. And as usual, all the latest news, beginning with the headlines from Jim Rosenthal.
And really, Brian, all tonight's headlines are about strikers. David Johnson scores his 50th league goal for Liverpool as they win at Sunderland. 16-year-old Paul Rideout gets his first on his debut for Swindon. There's a hat-trick for Trevor Francis in his comeback game for Nottingham Forest reserves. But Birmingham's Frank Worthington is sent off, and that means he misses next week's League Cup quarter-final at Anfield.
But now let's start with the action from Selhurst Park, where Crystal Palace came to this game against Manchester City, one off the bottom of the table, and in a desperate need of a positive result. City, meanwhile, had started to climb away from trouble, and one man has had a lot to do with that.
Well, the morning snow has cleared here, and bright periods have certainly been in evidence in Manchester these past few weeks, City having a really excellent run since the arrival of John Bond as manager. John, I wonder if you can tell us in one line, basically, how things have changed for you at Main Road.
Well, I suppose in one line, Brian, we've started winning, and that's the main thing. There's a little bit of confidence come back into the players and been instilled into them simply because we have won, and the thing has been taken on from there.
Now, can you just go through your side and tell us what to look for today?
Well, I'm hoping that Kevin Reeves and Dave Bennett will do their jobs today, such as they did last week against Coventry, where they showed tremendously well the whole time and made themselves available for our midfield men to get forward and support them as quickly as we possibly can, and to hit our front men as early and as quickly, and then take the game from there as early as possible.
So Bennett and Reeves are the key men for you?
Well, in many, many ways. I think all good sides need good front people and people who will make themselves available all the time, and I think that's what we've got now.
Good. Well, in the crowd today, Malcolm Allison, the man who used to pick the Manchester City side before John Bond's arrival, and of course Big Mal was also manager here at Crystal Palace as well. Well, this is the Palace side that Palace manager Ernie Whalley has chosen today. No Peter Nicholas at number 4. He's got an ankle injury in Jim Cannon's testimonial match on Tuesday. Cannon himself moves to 2. Paul Hinshelwood wears the 4 shirt, and the central defender is likely to be Terry Boyle with Billy Gilbert. The referee today, it's Tony Glasson from Salisbury. And quite a showbiz flavour about the director's box today. In the centre, Ronnie Corbett, an avid Crystal Palace fan. And Eddie Large is here as well, and he's just as avid about Manchester City. So away we go then. Manchester City attacking the goal to our left in a change strip of red and black stripes. Crystal Palace in the white strip. And straight away, Steve McKenzie with a rifling shot and a chance for them to put him ahead, and they've scored through Kevin Reeves in 13 seconds. What a blow for Crystal Palace. What an amazing start there for Manchester City, and John Bond's words at the start about Kevin Reeves and Dave Bennett being the key man. Well, Kevin Reeves has put Manchester City ahead in 13 seconds. Tremendous break there. Steve McKenzie, who used to be a Crystal Palace player, left here when he was 17 for £250,000 without playing in the first team. The ball bounces off Paul Barron, and there's the job for Kevin Reeves to put City 1 goal into the lead. Start, and what terrible start for Crystal Palace, rooted so close to the bottom of the table. Oh, that time by MacDonald. Palace's free kick. And a poor one there by Gilbert, quite easily cut out. Boyle. It's going to take a little bit of something for Palace to pull themselves together, considering the plight that they've got overall, and then to bring this goal down so early in the game. It takes a little bit of character to try the things that might surprise Manchester City, but Here's Boyle finding Hilaire. Flanagan sending Hilaire on his way. Flicked across the goal there, and McDonald just happy to get that one away into the air just for a moment. Flanagan trying to get in there again, and in the end it was Booth who hacked that one away to safety for Manchester City. Johnny Booth, first appearance for City way back in 1968. Cannon. Free kick to Palace. And on Jim Cannon by Paul Power. Francis with it. Should be Corrigan's ball. Dennis Stewart, who's now fit again after injury, but he can't get back in the side at the moment. Reeves. Kenzie presented it to him by Billy Gilbert. Power holding off Hilaire. Here's Bennett. Played wide there towards Kevin Reeves, and a very good piece of goalkeeping by Barron. Could so easily have been number 2. It's a corner instead. Good play here by Bennett, picking out Reeves like this. Reeves hit it on the volley, and somehow Barron kept it out. So the corner by Hutchison. Flicked on there towards Mackenzie. Good piece of keeping there by Barron. He really flung himself into the way of that Reeves shot. But again, the marking wasn't all that good by Crystal Palace at the back there. There was a lot of space at that far post for Kevin Reeves. Fenwick playing it short here. And Booth in again very quickly. And a good interception by Francis. He's got men up, he's got Flanagan, he's got Hilaire away on the left. Here's Hilaire. Has come to nothing. Ransom getting it away. And a throw to Manchester City. Reeves, Ransom, Bennett. Reeves again. Boyle getting that one away. Dave Bennett. Ranson with the cross. Kevin Reeves with a header. And Gow coming in. Well, I certainly had the impression there was a handball along the way there. But Jerry Gow, the referee looked at the linesman, and Jerry Gow's goal will stand. Ball coming in here. Flicked on by Kevin Reeves. There may have been a handball there, but obviously there wasn't. And Gow finished it off to put Manchester City 2 into the lead. 25 minutes gone. Jerry Gow gets his second goal for his new club since he came from Bristol City. With Cannon. And Palace really have problems. Hutchison. Power right in there. Mackenzie. Mickey Reed. And Bennett. And Bennett. Oh, touched away that time by Barron. I'm sure he touched that one away, and certainly Dave Bennett is remonstrating with the referee. I'm wondering what Malcolm Allison's thinking about it all. I'm even wondering who he's cheering. foul on Tommy Hutchison. Free kick to City. Reeves. And Ranson doing his best to get it back, but that's a corner. It's going to take a little bit of digging to get Palace out of this hole now. And Paul Barron desperately exposed. He's pulled off a couple of good saves as well as being beaten a couple of times as well. And here's Hutchison again with the corner, floated in there towards Tommy Booth, and McDonald, a free header, straight into the arms of Paul Barron. And again, a question mark against Palace defensive marking. A free header from a fullback coming in there, and saved by the keeper. Bennett. Reed. Boyle. And now Walsh. Finding Hinchelwood. Okay. Range shot here from Paul Hinchelwood. Never a great problem really for Corrigan. Hinchelwood. Certainly Manchester City are dominating this first half. They're doing well for goals. They've won their last two games 3-0, and they're 2-0 up at half-time as the whistle goes. And Ernie Wally's got a lot of talking to do in that Palace dressing room at half-time. With the goals coming after 25 minutes by the number 8 there, Jerry Gow, and the real sensational one was the one here by Kevin Reeves after just 13 seconds that really had Palace rocking. So a half-time score then. It's Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 2. So it's Palace who get us away. They've scored only 6 goals in their last 7 games. They've a real job to do now. John Bond, I suppose, at half-time, we'll just watch this Palace move. You must have said, well, let's have a cup of tea and have some more of the same in the second half.
Well, that's all I want them to do, Brian, in fairness. I mean, if they play the way they did the second half, the way they played the first half, all second half, I'll be well pleased. I thought they were absolutely magnificent, and we could have had 4 or 5 goals.
Kevin Reeves looking, as you were saying, so really sharp again.
Oh, yes, he looked exceptionally good in the first half, and providing he can keep this going, we've got a real chance.
And you've only had 1 away win, I think, this season, haven't you?
Well, I've only been there 6 weeks, Brian.
Yes. It's looking better already.
Well, it looks not bad at the moment if we can keep it going, that's for sure.
Yes, indeed. John, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
But here comes City again then. Free kick to Crystal Palace. Chipped in there and knocked away by Nicky Reed. And Tommy Booth charging that one down. John Bond back with his chairman again. And a throw quickly taken for Crystal Palace. And Corrigan needing to get down quickly from cannon shot. It's the first time really in the afternoon that City have looked as though they might be outwitted. A really quick throw there, which caught them out. A good run by Cannon, and in the end, a nice picture of a good save. Francis, here's Hilaire, way on the right. Support coming up rapidly. Good play here by Hilaire, a good cross coming in. It'll come all the way here for Hinchelwood. Dinked in again well there, but unfortunately for Palace, it was nodded away again. Francis in a bit of trouble on the ground just inside the City half. And he'll need a bit of treatment before we go any further. So Jerry Francis okay. Here's the corner coming in. And fair enough. Palace players up there. And Flanagan almost on the turn. Bennett looked as though he was going to get it away, and in the end it was Paul Power. Francis playing it wide again towards Flanagan. And another corner for Crystal Palace. I think it'll probably be a matter of time before Francis does come off. He's hobbling really badly. Back pretty deep, back of his left leg pretty sore. Here's the corner. Well, he's got to come into action now. Hobbling there, played it back again to Hilaire. In again it goes. Flanagan trying to make it on the turn, and he wasn't far away. Well, there's a little more venom about Crystal Palace in the second half. It's very, very crowded in there. Walsh and Flanagan. In the end, it was Flanagan on the turn, just clearing the crossbar. Cannon nodding it here for Hinshelwood, letting it run. And a bit of space over on this left-hand side for Mike Flanagan. That's a good ball there by Flanagan, and Walsh right in there. Well, a better connection then, and I don't think you'd have seen a better goal anywhere. Well, that was a lovely piece of control by Mick Flanagan, and a superb ball played in there over the City back four. And Walsh caught it first time. Unfortunately for him, it was on the half volley going on. Ray Ransom. Kevin Reeves. A little flick in there. And again, Palace get it away. Cannon. Seeley. Tight marking indeed there, but too tight by Reed. Seeley, they've got a few white shirts forward now. Hinshelwood right in there, Seeley in there too. Played there for Walsh. A beautiful goal! Well, Tony Seeley played a really big part in that. But it was a thunderous finish, though, in the end by Ian Walsh. Played forward here by Paul Hinshelwood. Just look at Seeley's part, a really well-timed run there. Just played on there for Ian Walsh, lashing it past Joe Corrigan, and maybe Palace are getting themselves back into the game. They've had a much better second half, and now it stands at 2-1. Tony Wally down on the bench just before that goal was scored, in fact doing an awful lot of arm waving, pushing people forward. Gilbert. Come for Gow. No, Seeley was in there. Oh, and there's a fight going on there. Walsh was involved, and Jerry Gow was involved, and what a scrimmage there. That's the referee. What chance has he got? Hinshelwood involved. So the yellow card for the Manchester City number 8, Jerry Gow. What an unseemly scramble that was. The only name that's gone in. It may have been Billy Gilbert who was involved there right early on, but there was such an amount of scrimmaging. Really unseemly little business that was. And it's a throw for Palace. Oh, good bit of play here by Hilaire, just crossing the ball in there, keeping it just in play. And City kept the boat steady there when they needed to. Billy Gilbert turning it back to Paul Barrow. Seeley playing it there for Cannon. And again for Jim Cannon, the Palace skipper. This cross coming in for Seeley. Oh, a terrific goal by Tony Seeley, 2-2. And that's what you call a comeback. No doubt the difference that Tony Seeley has made since he came on as sub. And what a good run there, combining with Jim Cannon. Cannon plays a superb ball in here, and Seeley hits it first time, no chance for Corrigan, and it's 2-2. Billy Gilbert. And here come Palace again. Now Hutchison. Well, their concentration has got to remain high, and there's space here for Bennett now for Manchester City. But he hit it straight at Gilbert, and back it goes to Paul Barron. Flanagan. Hutchison. Good atmosphere now. Still Tommy Hutchison, played in there for Bennett. Ooh, it's across the face of that goal, and if Reeves or Mackenzie had just given it a touch, Palace would have been behind again. Bennett's working it. Still City coming forward. No thought of them sitting back and making sure of a point. That's perfectly clear. Terry Boyle. He was a little too slow getting rid of that one, and Hutchison finds Ranson, and it's a real cut and thrust game again here now as Bennett inside that Palace penalty area, and a corner for Manchester City. About 7 minutes remaining. So Joe Corrigan, who looked comfortable and competent, mind you, he had no chance whatsoever with either goal. Must have wondered what hit him. Hutchison with the corner, Tommy Booth with the backward header, and they somehow got that off the line. It was a combination of Hinchelwood and Barron that got that one away. It's a real up and down game. Here comes City again. Mackenzie finding Hutchison, who's told Reeves to get on ahead of him. Still with Tommy Hutchison. His man well, and found Bennett. And now with Gow, goal! Paul Barron distressed there because Gow's shot rifled underneath him, and he could only have seen that very, very late. Hutchison, who played such a big part in it, twisting and turning. Bennett, who then was able to get it back to Gow, and look at no chance for the keeper there. He saw it so very late. And City are back in the lead at 3-2. Jerry Gow gets his second goal of the game. Seeley letting it go. Oh, and he might come for Walsh yet. Oh, pushed away there by Joe Corrigan, and it so nearly came into the path of Steve Lovell, but the whistle had gone. I think it may have been a free kick. Walsh possibly pushing on a Manchester City defender as he went in to get that ball. Very nearly, I thought for a moment, was going to give us an astonishing finish to this game. Good though it's been already. The final whistle. A handshake from the two managers. John Bond, the happier of the two, no doubt. I mean, credit to City, they kept coming forward even after they'd been pulled back to 2-2 in that marvellous recovery by Crystal Palace. Jerry Gow's 2 goals in the end, proving the difference between the sides. Kevin Reeves having put City ahead with just 13 seconds gone, with Walsh and Seeley the scorers for Crystal Palace. Well, another really good game, enjoyed by the fans to a certain extent, although of course it continues to put Palace in trouble near the bottom as City begin to climb away from that relegation area. Full-time score then, Selhurst Park. It's Crystal Palace 2, Manchester City 3.
And indeed, it was a result that immediately makes two things clearer at the bottom end of the table. Palace kept off the bottom place because Leicester lost at home to Norwich City. But the crucial result for them was the victory by Leeds over Brighton, which now opens up a 6-point gap between them and the team 4 off the bottom, Leeds. And the other point, of course, is that Manchester City are now on 17 points and 5 clear of the last relegation place. So it is beginning to look really bad for Palace with that gap growing. And on top of it all, there seems to be some tension in the air down at Selhurst Park. Indeed, this week, the chairman, Raymond Bloy, reminded the players that it was not their job to talk to the media about club policy. Manager Ernie Wally's view of that.
I think it has snowballed from when Terry Venables and all his staff left, and I had to pick the pieces, and everything was in a turmoil then. And we all got together, I mean from the office staff right down to the lads that was playing, and we put it back together, and we steadied the boat a little bit. And now I feel that, you know, the media, the papers, yourselves, you know, it's your job to get news, and the papers to get and dig in and ferret for news. And I felt that they thought we were ripe to get all the stories they could, and I don't blame them. But at the end of the day, I'm going to have people wanting to leave if they don't like my way of coaching or the little bit of strictness I put on players. And if they haven't got the character to come to talk to me about it and about the situations, or they want to leave, then I don't think they should be in the game.
Ernie Wally, who's as straight and as strong as they come, but I believe further changes are on their way at Crystal Palace and that they will involve Ernie Wally. In fact, I believe the board may be thinking again about the manager's position there, and Ernie himself told me tonight I would be a liar if I said I had not heard rumours and whispers. But one thing's for sure, Ernie Wally will do it his way. What a contrast to John Bond, and I wonder if Palace may have looked today at what a big name with a lot of First Division experience can do for a club. Because under Bond, City have taken 13 points out of 18, and he's learning more about the team all the time. What came out of today's match?
The lack of professionalism when you're in front and you need to do the right things and put the balls in the right areas and make the other team suffer because you are 2 up. Little things, you know, playing the right balls and the percentage balls in those particular times, and we didn't do that as well as we ought to. We were so negative and so lackadaisical and unprofessional when we were 2-0 up. It was unbelievable. I just said to the chairman, I said, we'll be in trouble here if we don't watch out. And bang, they'd got one, and once they'd got one, they'd got the bit between their teeth, and then there was only one team going to get anything out of it, and that was them. But credit the lads, they picked themselves up again, didn't they? In the last 10 minutes, we were the only team, I suppose, again, who were going to win it.
And news of Chelsea's bid for City's midfield player, Steve Daly. John Bond tells me that Daly has still to agree personal terms with Chelsea, but he believes he'll become a Chelsea player in the next few days. Well, as you saw, a spectator at Selhurst Park today was Malcolm Allison, the man who bought Steve Daly for £1.5 million. Big Mal, as you know, was manager both of Crystal Palace and Manchester City. For the time being, he's out of the game without a job. Was there any significance in him being there today?
No, it's the first match I've seen since Queen's Park Rangers played Wrexham. It was about 5 weeks ago. And some friends of mine were coming down. They said, would you like to come? So I thought, well, I'm feeling a lot better now. And so I thought I'd come and see the match. And,
Tell me what you mean by feeling a lot better now.
Well, I was very depressed for 4 or 5 weeks. And I didn't want to see football. I felt embarrassed by the whole thing. But I'm over that, I think, and I've got to start looking for some work.
Do you want to be a manager again?
Yes, I'd like to be in football again. I've spoken to Aztecs in America.
That's Los Angeles?
Yes. Yeah. And I've spoken to 2 or 3 people in football who've said, would I like to come and do some work with them? I'm not sure that I want to do that. But I feel now that I'd like to come back in football, yes.
Well, he's one of the game's characters, and I hope he gets back into the game pretty soon, Malcolm Allison. Coming up next, Manchester United against Southampton, the important one at the top between Aston Villa and Arsenal, and all the latest news after this break. Next, it's Manchester United against Southampton, with the Saints really hard hit by injury, still without Kevin Keegan and Steve Williams, and with Steve Moran pulled out with stomach trouble just before the game, And Phil Boyer, of course, now a Manchester City player. So with 16-year-old Danny Wallace, 16, just imagine that, and 18-year-old Ruben Agboola in their lineup. Well, the pictures come from Granada Television. The commentator's Gerald Sinstadt. Manchester United in the white shorts.
Koppel. Kari. Ivanovic had made the run but didn't reach the ball. And that was a foul by McCartney on Jordan. Seconds of the game gone, and McCartney very unceremoniously upending Jojo. Everybody back for Southampton. Birtles didn't make contact. Now he gets a chance, and it was a good shot too. Hard and on target, but covered by Wells. From the free kick, Birtles doesn't make contact the first time. Ball touched back to him by Macari, and that's a good shot through bodies, but well covered by the goalkeeper. Golak. Referee is given the trip by McElroy. Watson has gone forward. Golak's free kick. Aimed for Watson's head and finding it. And there was a little flick there from Shannon that caused a very hasty reaction from Bailey. And if it had been inside the post, he wouldn't have got it. Watson makes a good jump here. Seen that so many times in the past, and a lovely little deflection from Shannon. The header by Duxbury didn't work, and Bailey scrambles the shot away from George. Charlie George once again shows signs of despairing. Perhaps a little surprised to be given the opportunity at all from a not very good header by Duxbury. Watson, and he headed it down and onto the crossbar, and Bailey catches. Dave Watson, always a very good jumper, always likes to get over the ball with his headers. Overdid it there, hit the crossbar on the bounce. Birtles still dragging that ball out well with the left foot. Ivanovic. Watson stops him. George, possibilities here for Manchester, for Southampton, 3 against 3. Shannon with George going into the middle and Wallace going to join him. Shannon, Holmes up supporting him, and in comes Holmes for the shot. That's the goal. That puts Southampton in front, and with 8 minutes to go, it's probably good enough to win the game, and it was a shot worthy of winning a match too. Shannon goes over the tackle. Referee let play go on, and Holmes said thank you very much. Watson. And a fine shot by Koppel, turned aside by Wells. And in 60 seconds we've had almost as much excitement as in the last 60 minutes. Koppel, a good shot. That was on target. Good save by Wells. Turned by George for Wallace. Baker. Out by McElroy, then Grimes to Jovanovic. Whelan. Koppel. Bukhari. And a goal by Jordan. The equaliser from Joe Jordan. And Gary Birtles goes to join Tony Whelan, Mark Duxbury in the congratulations. Joe Jordan thrilled to have given the Manchester United fans something to cheer about in the dying minutes of the game. Macari Gray makes a very determined run here, and when it looked as though he might try a shot, played the ball in, and Jordan's determination rewarded by the post.
Even so, a great point for Southampton, and nobody more delighted, I'm sure, to get it than their manager, Laurie McMenemy, with his two young players, Danny Wallace and Ruben Agboola.
Oh, I'm delighted for them. Whether they played well or badly or whatever, I'm delighted to be able to give them the opportunity to play in the First Division, and especially here at Manchester United.
Danny Wallace, can I ask you first, did you enjoy your day?
Yeah, it's great, really great. Really enjoyed it.
Must have come as a great surprise to you.
Oh, yeah, it did. Laurie just had me in dressing rooms before the game.
Laurie, where's the Laurie from? You're not familiar just because you've had a game.
Before, you know, just before the minutes before the game. I was real delighted.
He hardly, in fact, played in the reserve side, had he, Laurie?
Well, we're just laughing about it because I picked him twice for the reserves, and he says he's had 2 games, but he didn't because one of them was off with the rain. But he's putting that down. He's trying to get more experience by the minute.
Ruben, did you enjoy your game?
Tremendous, yeah. It's really good.
What memory are you going to take away from this first league game at Old Trafford?
In the crowd, I think. This is like you couldn't hear anything all the way through the game. It was just ringing like in your head. It was just in the days, really.
What a great day for them. In fact, little Danny had gone up there, I gather, just thinking he was going to lay out the Southampton kit and no more. What a surprise. Manchester United manager Dave Sexton, though, wasn't quite so happy with Southampton. That's the 3rd time in succession, he says, that clubs have come here to play for a point. It's boring for the players and the spectators, to which Laurie McMenemy replied, I'm sorry that Dave should say things like that because I thought we deserved our point. The national news now with Jim Rosenthal.
Well, to the names of Danny Wallace and Ruben Agboola, we can add that of 16-year-old Paul Rideout, who scored on his league debut for Swindon Town. I'm sure many of you will remember Rideout's hat-trick earlier this year for England schoolboys at Wembley. And today he scored in the last minute of Swindon's 3-1 victory over Hull at the county ground. And he'd already had a 25-yard shot disallowed because someone else had strayed offside. So that's Paul Rideout, a young man to look out for, while more experienced and familiar strikers were also hogging the headlines. David Johnson scored his 50th league goal for Liverpool, and they typically bounced back from a surprise defeat at Wolves by winning 4-2 at Sunderland. Sammy Lee got 2 of those. Can't be long now before Trevor Francis is back in business in the First Division. Francis scored a hat-trick for Nottingham Forest reserves, won a penalty, and although he came off before the end, Francis said, I felt great all the way through. Unlike Birmingham's Frank Worthington, who was sent off in the 1-1 draw at Everton. Worthington had a goal disallowed for offside by referee Peter Tilsley. He continued to protest, and as these Sunday Mirror pictures show, that conclusion was inevitable. So no wonder Frank Worthington looks pretty miserable there. He'll miss Tuesday's League Cup quarter-final at Anfield. And also his application for a licence extension to celebrate his birthday, that's been rejected by Birmingham magistrates. But I'm sure they'll be raising their glasses in Grimsby tonight, where Joe Waters scored the fastest goal of the day after 10 seconds against Cambridge United. Makes Kevin Reeves look a real slouch, that, doesn't it? And Grimsby's 3-1 win was their best of the season.
Welcome back. And now we feature the team at the top of the First Division this morning, Aston Villa. Today at home to Arsenal, who came to this match in 4th place. Well, there was a crowd of 30,000 at Villa Park. The pictures are from ATV, and the commentator is Hugh Johns.
So Villa put out an unchanged side for the 5th time in a row. Although the 4 previous games have produced only 1 win, they've also produced only 1 defeat at Anfield. Arsenal have decided to give O'Leary a long rest, hoping a niggling injury will finally heal. So Walford, who's filled in for the Air International 10 times this season, now does the job again. Referee Norman Midgley of Salford gets us away. It's the yellow jerseys, the chain strip of the Gunners, and the dark blue shorts, the claret and blue and white shorts of Villa, with Shaw at this moment. The ball off from Shaw to Morley. And he's going hard and fast. Willie Young is the man to stop him. Here's Mortimer with Mortimer again. Still there, though. That was good skills by Williams. Here's Cowans. Hard struck pass here to Kenny Swain. Attacks Sanson. Willie Young's header out, but he didn't get length with it. Sampson under some pressure now.
That's a throw into Villa. Signalled by the linesman. The linesman this afternoon, John Ball of Leicester, Keith Cooper of Pontypridd. Swain's throw. It was Walford getting up, and Ricks now. It's an easy, tidy-up job, and possibly a touch of the match ball then for Jimmy Rimmer. It's Cowans trying to get in ahead of Devine. Young Era fullback did well. His clearance wasn't so hot, though. Here's With. Little chip, and maybe he did it. I think Pat Jennings was skint then. If With had been able to drop that just a little bit lower. It was a first-time shot. He'd seen Jennings off his line, tried to chip him, and Jennings was beaten. Ooh. Pass back from With, overran the mark, which was Mortimer. But now it's Bremner for Villa. As Mortimer starts to run on his own down the middle, Young's coming to him. The ball ran away for a moment. Obstruction, just inside the box. Indirect free kick. 4 in the wall, and 1 ready to bounce. Mortimer 6, Cowans 10. Morley to strike it, and it's a beaut! Oh, that was so close. When it left his boot, I was sure that was going in the net. First time, just beats the far post by a fraction. Picks up Stapleton, or does he? No, Williams was there first. Now Morley. Devine hustling Morley. And Morley comes away with the ball. Shaw chasing in. Looking for help. Gets it from Williams. Now Cowans. Willie Young launches himself like a human torpedo at that ball. They head it clear. Cowans, McNaught. And once he comes over the halfway line, we've got everybody bar Rimmer in this half of the field. And Mortimer going hard. A chip. He just couldn't get that left foot chip to get the height on the ball. Mortimer did so well to get there. Jennings has come a mile off his line. Now he needs to ship it over Jennings, and in fact, right into his arms. Ball drops to Hollins. Stapleton down to Sunderland. Off to Ricks. Looks for Sansom. Ricks again. Sansom, good throw to Sunderland. Sansom and another throw in. And with his long throw, that could be as good as a corner. Oh, in fact, he goes short to Sunderland. Early in, Cowans out. Big Willie Young. Big Willie got on target. With stabs that down. Ball given away though. Talbot. And there's Stapleton. Looks good. Oh, what a start to the second half for the Gunners of Highbury. That should have been in the back of the net. Stapleton goes for the far post. Just wide. Bremner up. Shaw trying to get there. Young was in first. There's Bremner in the way again. Well, the Villa fans right behind their team. Bit of width. Swain. It's Cowans. Shaw. Fine try. Jennings made the save look so easy. Beautiful bit of work. Look for Cowans as he chests this down, and Shaw, a first-time drive. Straight down the slot for Jennings. Alan Evans, good header. Gatting in there again. Sunderland got that one, only as far as Swain. Now it's Bremner. Morley on this touchline wanting it. Bremner's heading in that direction. Again, he has to attack two. The ball in low for Shaw. A touch. Morley. Goal. Beautiful goal. constructed by Morley and completed by Morley. 1-0, Aston Villa. Just about 12 minutes gone. There's Morley's ball to Shaw. He nicks it back, and when Morley hits it, straight past Jennings. 1-0. So Tony Morley, who's gone scoreless for 5 games, has finally broken the deadlock here. For Tony Morley, his 8th goal of the season. Against Walford. Help coming then from Sansom. Now it's McNaught for Villa. Chip forward and Mortimer running well. Oh, he hit the bar. Ball still in play as Shaw tries to set it up again now for Bremner. And here comes Swain. And the moment gone as Talbot comes out for Arsenal. Stapleton. Well, that was a tremendous moment. Wonderful run by Mortimer. Superb run by Mortimer. Deserved better than clipping the bar. John Devine. Sunderland and Hollins. Hit Evans. Williams picks up Shaw. Hollins coming back at Shaw, but he lays it off to Morley. With has a little bit of space far side of the box. Oh, flew about all over the place. Mortimer drops it down, and Bremner was there again. It's Williams, Morley against Devine. With to touch it back, and Shaw just couldn't get over the top of it. But once again, the old firm was working there. Morley knocking it across, with bold and brave as ever, getting up, knocks it down, and Shaw couldn't quite get over the top of it. Well, the goal scored by Morley has put Villa right on their toes. Referee Midgley allowing for the conditions and also playing advantage. Intelligent bit of refereeing. Sunderland, and that's a beautiful goal for Talbot. 1-1. Arsenal right back in the game. The North Bank travelling supporters from Highbury enjoyed that. It's Sunderland who makes the positive mood in, and Talbot, a little flick, and Rimmer flying through the air is beaten. 1-1. And for Brian Talbot, his 3rd goal of the season. With his goes Cowans. Being pushed wide. Swain, though, to deliver for Villa. With got there. Peter With got there despite the challenge of John Hollins. Swain delivering a good ball right across the face of the goals, and With gets up, and so does the ball. Here's Devine being chased by Mortimer, and he won the ball. Won it clean. Swain now. Mortimer still up there with this Villa attack. Ricks robs him. Oh, and a bad ball out, only as far as Swain. Tagged off to Shaw. Did well. Gary Shaw so very, very close to sticking Villa in front. But what a lot of hard graft went into making that opening for him. And for himself, he's beaten Jennings, beats the far post by a whisker. Signs that Arsenal are playing for 1-1 already, with quite a little bit of time left. Stapleton down, Cowans was there. Villa fans, of course, remembering that their last home game wound up with a drop point, 1-1 to Leeds. Drops down for Young. throw in to Villa. Williams looking for Bremner. Cowans. Mortimer is with Shaw. Very nearly did it again. This partnership is exciting to watch, there's no doubt about it. The ball gets knocked into the air, you look for Shaw then. Mortimer picks up with, he knocks it down, and Shaw delivers. Evans, good header. But apparently he was pulling Stapleton back. Remarkably enough, they're level in goals, 1-1, corners, 2-2, and in free kicks, that's not far off. Arsenal, this is their 18th free kick. Villa have had 15. McNaught heads out, and it's a fine try on the turn from Ricks. First time shot. Willie Young gets it down to With. Needs help. Gets it from Bremner. That ball knocked back in, and Willie Young was back in time. Bremner up. Walford away. Sunderland helping his defenders out. That was Devine way over the far side of the pitch. Cowans. Fouled by Ricks, free kick. And that's a booking for Alan Sunderland for throwing the ball at the linesman. And Alan Sunderland could get himself a red one for this. He has got one. Referee Midgley for Sunderland foolishly throwing the ball towards the linesman in the first place for his yellow card, then said something, and referee Midgley said, "No more of that, son. Off you go." A very, very petty matter, a very silly matter. Hits the big long one. Devine won't make a mistake there. Pat Jennings claps his hands, says, "Well done, son." And takes plenty of time over it too. And there it is. Arsenal well pleased, picking up a very good point here at Villa Park, but Aston Villa must reflect that they've still not taken a decisive win, and their position at the top of the table does not look anywhere near as secure as it did 2 or 3 weeks ago.
So a 1-1 draw, and a good point that for Arsenal, but as you saw, at some cost. That sending off of Alan Sunderland, who was saying, in fact, earlier this season that he knows that that's one of his weaknesses, getting involved with referees, and he was trying to cure it. Well, that's a lesson really for all players, that referees just will not tolerate dissent. And I don't think that Alan will get much sympathy from his manager, Terry Neal, who said afterwards it was a very silly thing to do. While at the top of the First Division table, Aston Villa stayed top with that point, but you can see that Liverpool have closed now to within 2 points of them after their victory at Sunderland. Ipswich, who didn't play today because of the bad weather conditions, they've got 3 games in hand, and I imagine that Bobby Robson must be worrying about the pile-up of fixtures that are coming Ipswich's way. Arsenal, in fact, have dropped a place down to 5th because West Brom won at Tottenham. Well, at Selhurst Park today, we saw a valuable win for Manchester City. Manager John Bond is never short of a word, and today his City side had the first word with the goal after 13 seconds, and the last word just 4 minutes from the end. It was too much even for Crystal Palace's fighting spirit.
And straight away, Steve McKenzie with a rifling shot, and a chance for them to put him ahead, and they've scored through Kevin Reeves in 13 seconds. His man well. And found Bennett, and now with Gal, goal!